Okay, so we're going to find the exact value of cosine 195, first by using the subtraction formula, and second by using the addition formula. So to use the subtraction, well, 225 minus 30 is 195. So we have 225 minus 30. This is equal to 195. So now we can use this formula here. So this is equal to the cosine of the first one, 225, times the cosine of 30 plus the sine of 225 times the sine of 30. So just substituting and using those formulas. To find the cosine of 225 is in the 225 is in the third quadrant. 180 plus 45 is 225. Now the 45, 90 triangle are 1 square root of 2. And the way I think of this, instead of using the unit circle, the way I think of this is the negative side of the x-axis, so think of that as a -1. This side is below the x-axis, those are negative y values, if you will, so this is negative. The hypotenuse is always positive. So the cosine of 225 is -1 over root 2. The sine of 30, well, that's the 30, 60, 90. And we have 1, 2 square root of 3. So the sine of 30, the cosine of 30 is root 3 over 2. And then we have plus the sine of 225. Sine is -1 over root 2. Times the sine of 30. Sine is 1 over 2. So what we end up with is minus root 3 over 2 root 2 minus 1 over 2 root 2. And just combining, we get minus root 3 minus 1 over our common denominator of 2 root 2. So let me just write that result. And I could factor that negative out and write this as minus the entire quantity of root 3 plus 1 over 2 root 2. So that entire quantity is negative. That's the same thing as this. I just factored out a negative. So now let's get the same result, but let's use the addition formula. Okay, so for 195 is 150 plus 45. And using our addition formula, we have the cosine of 150, cosine 45. Minus the sine of 150, the sine of 45. And the cosine of 150, if 150 is in the second quadrant, if this is 150, our reference angle is 30. And this is the 30, 60, 90, which is 1, 2, square root of 3. 1 is opposite 30. And again, above the x-axis, those are positive y values, so this is positive. To the left of the origin, those are negative x values, so think of that as negative. And then for 45, well, that's just 45, that's 1 square root of 2. And those are all positive. So the cosine of 150 is minus root 3 over 2 times the cosine of 45, 1 over root 2, minus the sine of 150. Sine of 150 is 1 over 2. And the sine of 45 is 1 over root 2. So this gives us minus root 3 over 2 root 2. Minus 1 over 2 root 2. And combining, we get minus root 3 minus 1 over our common denominator of 2 root 2. And I could factor that negative out and get the same answer of minus root 3 plus 1 over 2 root 2. So it's getting the same result, just using two different approaches.